Hey guys, Jason Morris here with Real Estate Agents That Really Work in High Impact Nation Coaching. So today I'm uploading here on YouTube an interview I did with Jason Goldfarb. I will tell you, this was one of the best interviews I did. Jason is working with a lot of We Buy Houses type leads, very similar to zbuyer. He talks about using his 2 ISAs to set more appointments. He talks about what he's going to do to take his business to the next level in 2019. Great guy, great interview. There's a lot of gems in here that you're going to pick out and things that you're going to find really useful to help you in your business. And guys, I want to tell you, one of the most important tools I have had in my business is using my pre-listing package. And I'm giving away a free template at jasonmorrisprelistingpackage.com. Just go to jasonmorrisprelistingpackage.com and you can get it for free, plus a video telling you how to use your pre-listing package. So guys, let's get to the interview. Hey, and if you like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave me a message in the comments in YouTube. Let me know what you think about this, and I look forward to doing more of these for you. Have a great day. Hey guys, this is Jason Morris with Real Estate Agents That Really Work, and today I'm on the call with Jason Goldfarb. Jason, do you want to introduce yourself, tell what market you're in, and a little bit about your business?
Sure. So I'm in the Boston market. I first was licensed early 2000s, late 99. And I've been throughout my career, about 20 years, there's been times I've been only part-time and there's been times I've been full-time. And I'm coming off 2018 and it was my best year in the real estate business. And I'm excited to go into 2019 and now try to actually increase that, which, years and years ago, I wouldn't have even imagined. But, we're doing some things now that are pretty scary, but you have to get over that hump. And that's where I'm at now. Last year, I closed about 34 transactions personally. And I'd like
What was
to.
your average price there?
In the Boston area, it's about 375, 400.
Oh, wow. So yeah, so 30 transactions. That's over $10 million.
You know what? I wish I knew the number. That's another thing. That's one of the challenges I'm working on is tracking, and I'm actually I'm looking to do a much better job of that year. But I know I made quite a bit of income, and I was very happy with it. And
Yeah.
I was grateful for everyone that helped me. I'm at a great company. We have great training. We have great mentors. And then also going out and being in groups like this has been huge.
That's awesome, man. The thing that always motivated me more than like the dollar volume sold was the number of transactions and the number of paychecks.
Exactly.
I mean,
Are you looking to close 100 deals? Or do you have income goals? And I think they should be tied to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Paychecks excite me way more than volume. It's always been like that for me. Number of transactions and paychecks. I didn't care if it was a $10,000 transaction or a $1 million transaction. I wanted the number of transactions has been a driving thing for me, like personally, and the whole time I've been in the business.
Sure.
I mean, I guess you could do one deal for $10 million and make a great living every year if you could get that one deal, but I've always thought that I get asked a lot about commercial real estate, and I've done a lot of commercial real estate, but that was one of the things I didn't like about it. Yeah, you'd make a great paycheck when it would close, but the problem is, you might work on a deal 6 months for it to close. I like the steady. I'd rather get 34 small paychecks throughout the year rather than work on one thing.
If one or two of those fall through, all right, we can live with that. But if you're working on only one or two commercial deals and they fall through, that's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man.
There's no guarantee.
So the deals you done last year, where did they come from in your business?
Okay, so I started doing some lead gen and actually putting some plans in place, systems, things like that. My company actually does help. It's a brokerage that actually does put us on appointments, which is very rare. So that was a huge help. Obviously, you had to hit some qualifying, you know, standards for them to be able to give you the leads because they're spending quite a bit of money. We come in with the cash offer call to action. So it's a lot easier getting in the door sometimes when someone thinks, maybe they think you're going to pay them what they see on Zillow when you walk in the door and you're going to give them a cash offer, no commissions, buy it as is, that type of thing. But, you know, most of the time you spend educating them and then trying to say, hey, let's list the property, something similar like to what you do with zbuyer, right?
Yeah,
So, but that was a big part of my business. I would say 40-50% of it. Um,
really.
and I would acquire properties too. I mean, for the company, obviously. You know, I'm looking to do it myself a little more, and I did get one investment property this year, but looking to expand that.
You know, that was one of the things that drew me to zbuyer, that we buy houses thing.
Yeah,
Um, I had been with a program like years ago, and then that program went away when the market crashed. But those people that are inquiring, looking for a buyer for their house, they're actually seeking out a buyer for their house. Dude, they're pretty motivated.
yeah,
I
oh
mean,
yeah,
they're actually going on a website or going on something, filling out their details. Those are motivated sellers. Sometimes, yeah, something that I learned through zbuyer, especially, and you're probably having the same thing, is sometimes the people just don't know how real estate agents work.
yeah,
I mean, sometimes you have to educate them on like what we do, and hey, you don't have to pay the real estate commission up front. We get paid for performance, really. You
oh
know,
yeah.
if we don't perform, we don't get paid. Um, but yeah, so I think that's pretty interesting, man. I've been a big fan of We Buy Houses leads. Those sort of leads. But let me ask you. So, what's your goal for 2019?
So I'd like to hit 60 transactions.
Okay.
That's my goal. It's a big goal, especially when before this year, I was like I would be between a 12 and 15 unit guy. And I mean, in my area, that's decent. Um, but you know, obviously you could do better. So I'm looking to like really go to 60 this year. And the only way I'm going to do it, obviously, is with some leverage. I'm looking at trying to bring on some people to help me. I already have some. I'm improving that. And, you know, I mean, for the most part, you can handle the business, like everything. But it's the real estate roller coaster you try to avoid, right? So,
Of course.
yeah, I can handle it this month, but next month when I have 8 or 9 transactions going in a month, I need help. Like I have a transaction coordinator, someone to run around and do things, meet the fire department, things like that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm trying to tighten that up more this year. And one of the big things is obviously time management, looking at what is your value per hour and how to leverage out things that, you know, might be half of what you're worth, right? And
Yeah.
everyone has a value, you know, and you can increase that and you know what I mean? So that's really what I'm trying to focus on this year, as well as tracking. So I'm trying to really keep myself accountable. I'm using a program that's going to help track me and keep me on goals and show me ROI on what I'm investing, as well as my time and my money.
You know, man, something that helped me over the years, and I don't know if you're struggling with this, um, but I see a lot of agents where they're just doing too much. You know what I mean? Like where they feel like they have to hold everybody's hand through the transaction.
Hmm.
And your market may be different than mine, but like here, we don't have to go to inspections. Most inspectors that everybody's using are part of the MLS board. They have their own MLS key. And man, there's no need for me to be there. You know what I mean? And an inspection here lasts, God, I've been to some that lasted 4 hours, but I mean, 2 to 3 hours is pretty common. And I see agents going to them all the time, and there's nothing for them to do. I mean, are they gonna try to hold, are they gonna hold the flashlight for the guy while he's looking in the closet? I mean, they'd basically just end up going, sitting on the couch and, playing on their phone for 2 or 3 hours. And I saw myself doing this. This was several years ago, where I was getting caught up in all this random stuff that didn't matter if I was there or not. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
and then actually sitting down sometimes and figuring that out. And, in my market, it is more common to be at an inspection if you're representing the buyer. So
Hmm.
obviously to avoid that as much as possible is work more with listings, work more with sellers. And
Yes, I tell you what, sellers. I my career was kind of funky. I worked a lot with sellers. Then, kind of in the middle of it, I built a team and built a bunch of websites and generated a lot of leads. I built a property management company that would support my team, and so I had all these different things going on, and then when I got really burnt out, I got tired, and I quit doing that. I disbanded my team, and I went back to being a single agent. One of the things that I learned was that man, I could have 50 listings, all 50 of them could get shown today, or if I had 50 approved buyers, it, I couldn't show them all property probably this month.
right, right.
And one of my favorite stories to tell is me and Laura were on a cruise, and we were out in the Caribbean, hanging out and having fun, and I was still having properties getting shown. And that week while we were on the boat, through basically email, man, I got 3 contracts. I made $17,000 while we were on a cruise in the Caribbean.
There you go.
Yep.
Probably paid for it.
Oh God, yeah. The cruise was only like, hey, um, gosh, Carnival is cheap from where we are. I mean, hey man, the cruise was probably like $1,500.
Yeah.
Maybe $2,000 for the whole trip, and I made $17,000 off the contracts I got that week. And all that happened while I was not there.
Sure.
And you can't do that working with buyers. I mean, there's a lot of agents say, "Oh, well, you get a buyer's agent," but yeah, you're only going to make a small percentage of that. I mean, but so what are you doing with your buyers right now? Are you still working with buyers and sellers, or?
Yeah. So it's hard for me to get away from my SOI. Eventually, my goal is to take myself out of working directly with buyers and sellers, if possible. But my SOI will be the last thing I'll give up.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm also working on, in addition to like the cash offer, call to action type stuff, the zbuyer
Mhm.
type stuff. We do call probate lists. I have people that dial the phone. One of my biggest challenges is making calls cold.
Yes.
Although it's a necessity, it has to be done. So I have 2 ISAs that I need to spend and tighten up and spend more time working with them, but they're generating appointments. They dial about 60 hours a week for me, and I split the cost with a partner of mine.
Yep.
So we do that, and then I was considering adding some mailing under the same effect. I just think the cash offer is a really good way to get in the door because, like you said, people don't know,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
they're able to. And I go out there very transparent and offer solutions. And most of the time, I'll be saying things like, "Hey, a cash offer, it sounds great, but based on your income goals, it's really not going to make sense for you because all investors and cash buyers are going to be in this range and at the top of that range they'll jump out of your seat." You know what I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
the time. So basically by saying that, I'm not saying I'm the one offering you that, I'm saying all. So I'm trying to take myself away from that because I don't want them to get mad at the number, because the number is the
Of
number.
course.
And then I go over and say, hey, that wouldn't it make more sense for you to get this, and this is how we can do it, and you kind of go into a listing presentation.
Yep, I agree with you. I liked using zbuyer. I didn't do the cash offers myself, but I'll tell you what I have done, man. Over the years, I've been friends with a lot of these wholesale guys, and sometimes they bring me deals that make sense, and they're looking for a buyer for them. And I bought some of their wholesale deals, but lots of times those guys, they're sticking out the "We Buy Houses" signs,
Yeah, the bandit
and
signs. Yeah.
yeah, now I'm not going to submit 10 offers a day for these guys. I'm not that. I'm not their agent if that's what they're looking for. But like, hey, they'll stick out those signs, get 3 or 4 calls a week. Hey, I don't mind pulling a couple of comps for them. I don't mind looking some stuff up in MLS, and I don't mind, I don't mind trying to help them out if I can. And in return, these, sometimes, man, they will send me they'll send me people. Hey, this lady really needs to sell her house. I can't give her but 75 for it, and she really needs, 90. And Dude, I've got some great leads that were just passed off, just from having those relationships.
Sure.
A lot of agents skip those guys because, they kind of have their own plan. I'm not approaching them. Here's the thing that's confusing to some agents. I'm not approaching them expecting to list every single property that they will ever buy.
Hmm.
I'm just approaching them going, hey man, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing with your leads that, you can't buy? And because at least in my area, most areas, those bandit signs are illegal now. You can't really put them up. I'm not putting them up as a real estate agent, but like, hey man, if they want me to stick out 5 or 6 on my end of town for them, I don't mind sticking them out for them with their number.
Right, right.
I don't mind helping them out. I got one guy, man, that there for a while, God, every deal he would call me with, I would buy it. And that guy loves me, man. He texted me the other day. He wants to go skiing somewhere, and he was asking me if me and my wife want to go with him. But I mean, I think that those we buy houses things, it's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy. You're almost flipping the script on them, and it's a pretty easy flip too, isn't it?
Yeah, because they, like you said, sometimes they don't know what they don't know, and
Yeah.
and I mean, you're gonna get some, you're not. You're gonna lose some, you're gonna get some, and you know what? It's just about a numbers game and knowing how many calls or what you need to do to get the amount of appointments you need to get on, how many contracts you're gonna get out of that, and then the fall through rate on those. And when you start to really look at your business, and believe me, I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it so I can know exactly, hey, I need to go on this many appointments. And you talk about this a lot. And you just need to know what you need to know. And on a daily basis, did you hit your goal today or did you not? Some days you might do more than what you needed to do, and other days less. But overall, it needs to make sense if you want to hit your goal. So having a defined goal, a lot of these things that I've been in the business a long time, I hadn't done, and I've heard of it and sound great. Let's do it. I should do it, but never did it. And the funny thing about real estate is, like, the success in real estate doesn't go up like in a normal even progression. It might look like a zigzag pattern, and then all of a sudden a breakthrough.
Yeah, that's right. It's my business has changed like the last 18, 24 months. We were talking about that before the call. Where where I'm really focused on building rental portfolio and more passive income through real estate and stuff like that. And I've really worked hard doing some of that stuff. And as a result, I haven't done as much brokerage the last year
Yeah,
because of
and I
that,
mean,
health reasons.
that's
But
a great goal to have, to be able to, have all your bills paid passively. And believe me, that's on my goal list. I have in front of me my goals. I have in front of me my plans. One of the things too, time management, protecting your time.
oh
And,
yeah, man,
and I
that's
mean,
the hardest thing.
I mean, even still, and I'm working on, and I know I need to do it, I'll still get off track. I'm like, I know I need to block this time. I mean, really, what is there in real estate that's an absolute emergency that you need to tend to?
Yeah, we're not doing heart surgery.
Exactly. So, but for whatever reason, we tell ourselves that, and we feel like we need to jump on and be proactive for our clients and tend to their needs. And that's just not the case, especially if you can lay the ground rules with them up front. Hey, every day between, say, 8 and 12, I'm going to be prospecting for you. I'm going to be working. You won't be able to get me on the phone, but if it's
Yep.
an emergency, text me or message me, and I'll try to get back to you if it's an absolute emergency, right?
Yep.
Like that.
You know
And
what? I'll tell you what I kind of learned, and this has been really effective for me, is I use my voicemail. I use my voicemail message, and my voicemail message now my voicemail message actually says that I'll be in appointments all day and may be unavailable. If you get this message, please send me a text, or you can email me at. But for years, my voicemail said, "Hey, you've reached the phone of Jason Morris. I'll be in meetings today till 12 noon. If you need me or it's an emergency, please send me a text, or you can send me an email. I'd leave my email address." And I'd say, and I will respond back to you as soon as I can or after 12.
Okay. Yeah.
And dude, you wouldn't believe how many people the worst people that will waste our time are our friends and family.
Oh
like
yeah.
um
They don't
like
understand, and a lot of people outside of our business don't understand that business either. They don't understand, like, we don't punch a clock, and
yep,
and I mean, you can let people either run your life or you can control it, and I mean, there's different degrees of that, right? We were talking about some people, someone that you met in your coaching, and his challenges earlier, and and what he's done, and that's just probably by just being aware of what you allow to control you, because it really comes down to you, right?
that's right. That's right. It's I'll tell you, like, the worst one for me was, yeah, I'm sharing this story. I love her to death. This is my mom. Um, I love my mom, but I'm sharing this story because I feel like, you and other agents can learn from this. Dude, my mom didn't understand that I had stuff I had to do as a real estate agent when I first started. And man, they'd come down here. I live about 2 hours away from them, or at the time I lived about 2 hours away from them. They'd come down here on vacation or come down here for the weekend, and they would, I try to spend as much time as I could with them, but they would want me to time block like everything during the week. Well, they would want me to spend the whole week with them,
Hmm.
and I just could not do it. I mean, I still had stuff I had to do. I still had to make calls. My mom would blow me up. And then if she didn't get me, she'd have my dad to call me. And if he didn't get me, she'd have my brother to call me. And I mean, it would just go down the list like that. And I know that she meant well, right? She just wanted to spend time with me. And, but it's taken my mom like probably took her about 10 or 12 years to learn that, like, hey, between 8 and like 11 or 12, like, I am not available. So I'll tell you what my mom does. My mom calls me before 8 a.m. if she wants to talk to me. I mean, so it's kind of funny. So about a couple days a week, she'll call me like 7:30, 7:15, 7:30. I mean, she knows I'm up. I get up at like an insane time nowadays. Which that's something I wanted to ask you about before we started the call. Me and Jason talked about Jason been on the ketogenic diet for a year, and I'd been on it to actually get rid of my allergies and health problems I've been kind of suffering with for about 12 to 18 months. And dude, since you've changed your diet, I know that you have a lot more energy because I'm like that. I changed my
Oh,
diet.
oh, absolutely. And
My
you're able to get up earlier and
Yep,
actually feel rested.
my energy level is through the roof. But since I changed it, like, I've always got up early, but dude, the last 3 or 4 months since I've been doing this, um, the health problems have went away like 90%. Plus, I have like, dude, I've been waking up like 5:15 without an alarm clock.
Unbelievable. I need to get to that point.
And I go to bed like 11. Well, I go to bed like 10:30, 11,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I feel fully rested.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's yeah, it's really kind of strange. I mean, my sleeping time actually went down, but I get up like 5 o'clock in the morning. But I do it so that I can get more of those random things done every day.
Yeah, and you notice, obviously, in the morning, and actually, it's funny that you're talking about this, because one of our coaches and mentors and trainers, also an author that's directly in our office. I'm actually going to go to a training session with him today. His name is Ryan Snow. He is a co-author of the book The Miracle Morning with Hal Elrod, and
Yeah.
that is just right along the lines with what's important with business and life are a lot of times the same thing. And he's a big advocate of owning that first hour in the morning, where you take some time to plan your day, read, maybe do some exercise. I mean, it's in the book, um, and it really does help. And I mean, just keep getting consistent with it.
You
And
know, the books that I've wrote, I've contributed to 3 or 4 books, and I wrote How to Be a FSBO Master, the 53 Strategies to Get More Listings, How to Make $1 million Selling Real Estate, and then I got a planner and I got a tracker, and I've got like 3 different little projects and books I'm working on. All that stuff has been done before like 7 a.m. in the morning.
There you go. And I
I
mean,
mean,
that's huge, right? And I think I
yep.
probably have every single one of those. So
Yeah, yeah, and my group coaching here in the next. I'm hoping to finish this like here in the next week, but I've got my script and objections book that you guys will get. Everybody in my coaching group, but all
yeah,
that stuff's being
I went
done.
through that too. That was some really helpful stuff because I'm at the point now where I still need quite a bit of help, mentorship, training, that type of stuff. But I'm also at a point where I'm helping a lot of people, and there's a lot of reward to bringing up newer agents and seeing some of them really progress.
There really is, man. That's one of the things about like coaching real estate agents that I've found like the most rewarding. It it has nothing to do with the monetary part of it. It's that, you see this agent that is, like maybe their previous job was working at Taco Bell making $20,000 a year. And all of a sudden now they're making $50,000 a year. And and it's the most money they ever made in their life. And for some of us, we look at that and go, oh, 50 grand a year, that sucks. But for a lot of these agents, man, 50 grand a year, that's life-changing money for them and their family. You know, um, and pretty rewarding to see that. And I believe there's so much business out there that none of us are competing with each other. I mean, there's an agent in my market that messaged me yesterday asking for help, and I sent him my number and said, hey, call me, I'll help you out.
Yep.
And they bought my book online. That's probably been one of the most interesting thing is local people buying my stuff and then calling me about it, and asking for help. But so you've got two ISAs that are calling. So who are those ISAs calling?
So I have them die. So I was doing another lead source I was doing, which I think I'm going to get away from a little bit as it's just really difficult to get in the door is the home valuation stuff from Facebook.
Yeah,
Um, I was
those
signing
are
up for a
tough
company
now.
called Bold Leads, and I think we're getting away from that. But I have them, and here's the thing: it's not just the cost of the lead. It's going someone has to nurture these leads and do the 10 days of pain. And I'm being honest, it wasn't going to be me when you get to a certain volume of leads
Of
completely.
course.
So I have them dialing through, the old Bold leads, because some of those leads today, they're not ready to sell usually for 6 months to a year for the most part. And a lot of them are tire kickers to begin with. They just want to know. So you got to go through them. So even though the lead source overall is pretty affordable, the quality of the lead will really drain your time because you need to nurture them in order to get in the door. And I think maybe if you're lucky, like one out of 100, you might actually close. And that's if you're good.
Yeah, it's so what you're doing is you're having them to call, and then when they get somebody that's like a warm lead, somebody that wants to do something, then they pass that person on to you, and you talk to them, put them in your follow-up
Yeah,
anchor
they'll make,
system, right?
yeah, well, there's a progression. Like they'll identify warm leads that aren't ready for us to walk through the door yet. And, we'll continue nurture them with them and myself, or they'll just schedule the appointment. But
So
we're getting more appointments scheduled from other sources than that. That's the least. Probate and
you mentioned probate. So where are you
probate.
getting your probate leads from right
We
now?
buy a list. I'm not even sure right off the top of my head the company we buy it from, but we buy a list of probate, and it has the names and numbers, and we have a script, and we have the ISAs call through. I have two ISAs. One is just doing cold calls completely. That's it. The other one does both, where she'll nurture and she'll do cold calls. So she'll start off with the nurturing. She has a schedule, nurture everything first. Then once you're done, go through the probate list too. So one's full time at 40 hours a week, and the other one is 20 hours, and they're out of the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I have a manager who helps me manage them too on site.
So I got an idea for you. I shared this idea with somebody else that you guys are in these cold states up there, where it gets really cold in the winter months. And so what is your tenant eviction process up there?
Oh, we're in Massachusetts, so this state really favors
Favors
tenants.
tenants, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, a good tenant can squat for 2 years
Oh
if they know what they're doing.
man, I got one that squatted for 7 months, and I just got the eviction like this week. And this guy knew every trick in the book. I mean, he changed the numbers on the outside of the house and would tell the police when the sheriff would go to serve him. He'd tell him he was at the wrong house. I'm talking about this guy knew every trick in the book. Like,
Wow,
it
that's
was
creative,
unreal.
huh?
He was a professional. He
You
was
like
a
you look at
professional
these
squatter.
guys. Some of these guys, wow, you're very creative. You could actually use that and make a lot of money and be able to buy your own place.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. But I'll tell you, I was at the point like the eviction hearing, the first two evictions I filed were thrown out. I mean, this guy and I've been doing this. I used to own a property management company, and we managed like 350 units. Um, so I mean, I've been doing evictions and stuff since 2006, 2007. Before that, I'd done condo conversions with this group of guys, and part of my job with the condo conversion was to kick everybody out. And so I've been doing this since really 2000, probably 2005, like evictions.
Yep.
And dude, I've never had a problem. We're kind of down the middle state. We're not really tenant friendly. We're not really landlord friendly. Um, it's either, hey, did you pay or not pay, and do you have a valid lease? Or were you on a 30-day, on a month to month? So we're pretty much down the middle with most stuff. And I never had this happen before. But dude, I was at the point of frustration with this where I was literally thinking about what are my options to get rid of the house if I don't get the eviction granted this week, right? I couldn't imagine 2 years.
You were in the position that a lot of
Yeah.
Some of us exactly. I mean,
It sounds common in your market. I
get
100% get it, man. The ones that take 30 days, I'd get frustrated with. I couldn't imagine a year. But now I think about that frustration. One lead source I had a lot of success with when we were building a property management company, and then when I was listing properties, was calling owners going through evictions.
Oh, and you know what? In my state, that'd be probably really effective.
Yep, because
I've never tried that, and I'm sure there's a way to find out who's filing evictions.
There actually is. It's all public record. I would be willing to bet, since it's so difficult to do it. I know you can do this in your market. There's somebody that sells a list in Boston. I don't know who they are, but they sell it mainly to attorneys. It's probably a title company. The way I know about this is because I used to manage some properties. This was 10 years ago. If I still had the guy's number, I would contact him for you, but I'm sure I don't. But
I'm definitely gonna.
He was an attorney that had only done evictions, and he was from Boston, and I remember him telling me that he bought a list, and basically they done mailings and stuff, and he got mailings off of it. But those owners, man, they're going through that eviction process. You think about it, some of them don't really have the cash reserves to hang in there a year. You know what I mean? With no money coming in, plus pay taxes, plus pay everything that goes into owning a house,
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of these that's where the opportunity is, except with probate as well, because there's a family, sometimes they get a property and they don't want to pay for it. They don't, they just want to get rid of it. And these owners who have tenants like this, they might be in a similar mindset, although it's a different reason.
I can't believe there's not a service. Anybody listening to this that wants like $1 million idea, but I can't believe there's not a service that's offering those leads to agents.
You might be onto something.
And it's all public record, and you could probably get I know here, man, I got a friend that's a wholesale guy, and he's a buddy of mine, and he's really going after, he's doing the we buy houses, postcards and stuff to landlords that are doing evictions. And he has a VA. I'm actually going to do an interview with him like in a few weeks. I've already texted him about it. He has outsourced that whole eviction thing to a VA, where she has, this is what he does. She has access to the court website, which is public information. he done a video showing her how to look it up, showing her how to get all the information and stuff about the property, how to look up the property's address and the tax records. And her job every week, man, is to go through the stuff, pulling out the new evictions. And he even has a website. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't sent out cards or anything like that, but he has a postcard website where every week she loads the list in, and he's given her a gift card, right? He didn't give her his credit card number or anything like that, but he's given her a Visa gift card that has like, like $100 on it. And she actually puts the list, uploads the list, and I mean, she does everything. She even presses send on it. And he 100% outsourced it to her. And
So the $100 gift card, what's that for her to just make?
it's basically for her to pay for the postcards.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. She uploads the list to the website that sends out the postcards, and she goes through the whole checkout and everything. She don't need him to approve anything or anything. She just does it. And she's got basically, I think he told me $100 on a Visa gift card. And she does the whole thing, sending out postcards to those people.
Unbelievable.
Yep. And I think that's a fantastic resource, especially like in cold states, where
Yeah.
you guys are very tenant friendly, because I can only imagine, dude, 2 years, man, I don't want to burn the house down.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, and it begets, people, just let's face it, people are emotional creatures, right? And a landlord, who goes through it, it might not even be about the money anymore, and they just want to get rid of it.
you know what? That's how I was with this guy. I mean, it wasn't even about like, instead of South Carolina, you get a judgment, but you probably can't collect on it. We're very what is it? Very not We're not very creditor friendly, I guess is the word. But yeah, so I mean, I could get a judgment on this guy, but it's nothing's going to really happen. I mean, the guy probably already has a bunch of them,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really matter. But at the point I was like Monday when we went to the eviction hearing, dude, I didn't care about the money. I just wanted him gone.
Exactly. You might have
I just wanted him
paid
gone.
more. You might have paid, double what it normally costs to get them out. And I mean,
Oh
do you ever
yeah.
try, and this is another topic, but I mean, we could probably talk for hours, but you got to get your day going, and I got to get mine. But do you ever just try it and say, hey, if you leave peacefully, I'll give you $1,000 or whatever, or like
Let
cash
me.
keys?
I'll tell you what I did with that, and I thought about that, but the guy didn't have on water. He didn't have water. Well, the previous tenant had water connected, and he just didn't ever pay it. But what he did was the previous the previous tenants were Spanish speaking people that ended up going back to wherever they come from, and anyway, and they left. Here we have pay as you go electric, prepaid electric basically, and they left their electric count on. And what this guy done was he'd went in the house, dug through the trash, found their account number, and he just started paying their electric. Right. So the police would not kick him out based on trespassing, because he had utilities on, because the water was still on from the previous tenants and the electricity was still on from the previous tenants. He was just paying the bill. So the water ends up getting shut off. This guy calls me, just raising hell with me, telling me that I could not restrict water access to him. And so finally I talked to my attorney, and my attorney said, yeah, man, you should allow him to turn on the water as long as he's paying for it. Because if you go in front of the judge, it's not going to look good if you turn off the guy, wouldn't let the guy get access to water. So what the guy done is I call the water company. I give him permission to turn his water on. They tell him it's going to be like a $350 deposit. Now, this guy says this wasn't him. He claims that he was gone and somebody come and done this, but somebody stole a water meter down the street and put it in his water meter place,
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been living there the last 4 months with no water. The water company wants like $1,500 to turn on the water. The electric is basically the account is open, but there hadn't been money put on it in a while. They actually have a generator sitting outside the door. that they're, I guess, running electricity off of. I mean, the story, dude, I could just keep going on and on.
It's
It's like an
yeah. I mean,
unbelievable
it's like
story.
one of those stories, and
Um,
we'll probably I'd like to talk to you more about
dude,
it, but
I mean, it's so insane. So I told him, I said, hey, man, I said, why don't you guys can't be comfortable there, right? You don't have any water, you don't have any electric. I mean, you know, and I told the wife this. I said, you guys can't be comfortable. Why don't you just leave? And she goes, this is our house. You gave us this house. And I'm going, what? And her exact words, I gave them the house. And I'm like scratching my head going, in what weirdo, bizarro, backwards world are you from, you know?
yeah,
And then he tells me, he said, well, I mean, I got $5,000 in the house. If you give me my $5,000, I'll leave. And I'm like, oh, screw you, man. I'm not doing that.
yeah, that's too
And
much.
I'll tell you I'll tell you the last thing about it, and we'll move on from this story. But dude, I was going through Facebook, and I buy all kind of random stuff through Facebook. Sometimes I think Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find deals on random shit that I probably don't need. And I seen these bathroom vanities on Facebook, and I'm like, oh man, I probably need those, you know. And or I need them. I was thinking I needed them for something I couldn't remember, and the woman wanted like $50 for like 2 bathroom vanities and a sink. Anyway, dude, I look at it and I click on her profile, and I'm like, oh shit, that's my tenant, and those are
And
my damn.
she's selling y'all vanities.
Yeah, dude, she's selling my bathroom vanities. So I have a buddy of
Oh
mine
my
that I know he's
god.
gonna listen to this. He's a realtor too, and I sent him the thing. I texted to him like, dude, she's selling my vanities. Can you message her? So he messages her, gets all the information and stuff from him, and the woman's been like following up with him steady. She's like, hey, well, we'll take $30 if you come get them today, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and anyway, he asked me, he goes, hey, do you want me to go buy back your vanities? And I said, I just don't want to give them any money. You know what I mean? Like, I just refuse to let them sell them to somebody.
Wow.
That's the point I was at. I was like, screw them, man. Um,
Unbelievable.
but yeah. So when we get to court, man, part of my telling the judge,
You
why it's
found
not
out
the
that they're
case
selling your vanities. I'm sure
was
you documented
was
it.
I pulled out the printout of the Facebook ad, and then I pull out the transcript for my buddy with his name blacked out. And I said, Your Honor, this is where we talked to her about buying my vanities. And I said, I want to submit this to evidence. Do I need to give it to you or her first? And I look at her. The husband wasn't there, of course. I look at her, and she looks like, looks like, oh shit, you know. And but
Unbelievable.
yeah, the court was a complete circus. She told the judge that I gave him the house. And
Unbelievable.
yeah,
So
fun
hey,
times,
hey,
man.
Jason, listen, I got another appointment. I blocked about an hour and I already went over.
No
I
problem,
really
man. I
I just want
really
to say,
appreciate you doing this with me
yeah,
today. Thank
and
you.
I just want to say, like, I really appreciate the extreme value that I've gotten from the group and the group coaching. Keep bringing it. I would really love if we could ever get back on another one of these calls because
Yes,
I think we only scratched the surface here. I mean, we barely went over, and we did touch about it a little bit, but maybe get into more depth and maybe even like kind of like have a little bit of a list of what we're going to talk about next. That'd be great.
I
Um,
agree.
but
Let's plan to do this again. I think your business you got a lot of unique things going on. I want to talk to you more about ISAs, and what you're doing with yours exactly. And I got some ideas for you on ISAs. I don't mind sharing with you. And
sure.
because I got another guy, dude, I tell you what, I got like 3 or 4 people in my group coaching that I know about that are using ISAs. And I think it would be really great if we could get everybody on the same call,
Yeah,
and
why
we
you
kind of
know
do some masterminding.
why don't you shoot me a message and like let's coordinate and I would love to do that and looking forward to it and I really appreciate getting on the call with you. Again, it's extreme value. I get it. I mean, and you can pull it from so many different places. You just got to go out there and look to improve.
Dude, there's so many ways you can get business. So many ways, man. But I appreciate you doing the call with me, man. I'll let you go. I know you got another appointment. And but let's talk soon.
You got it. You have a
Hey,
great day.
hey,
Take
thank you,
care.
Jason. You have a great day, man.
All right, bye-bye.